I wanted the ability to be able to tell the right and true story. I wanted to be able to quickly ascertain what was causing a subpar experience for either one or multiple people, and I wanted to do that with confidence. My perspective is if you don't have the data, then you can't tell the story. So my name is Christopher Kern. I am a Vice President of Infrastructure at PIMCO. I manage a couple of different spaces, technical spaces. One of them is the DEX space. I also manage the software distribution, patching, and self-service. I manage mobile as well, so I do the mobile. And I'm also responsible for the endpoints to which our virtualized environment is accessed through, be it thin clients, physical desktops, and laptops. PIMCO is a financial fixed income financial institution with roughly 5,000 employees managing $2 trillion in assets. So a lot of money, a lot of sense of urgency around getting things done in terms of, how the business runs and operates, which is where the technical piece of this comes into play. Observability and being able to keep an eye on the landscape so this way the business is running optimally and there's the least amount of disruption as possible is important, which is what led us ultimately to having to solve that challenge with what is now the DEX-based solution. Before SysTrack, problems never went away. Problems always existed, right? And I've been doing this for roughly 26 years. And, complaints and issues and sentiment and poor experience has been articulated in many different ways. And there's always been some way that you can deal with certain things. But back in the early 90s and early 2000s, you would have to rely on some of these tools that were third party that and some basic tools that Microsoft made available to you in order to be able to answer why someone may have having a subpar experience with their desktop space. And you had some basic tools in order to be able to get some of those answers, but it never seemed to be enough. And it always seemed that the individual that was doing that level of troubleshooting needed to have some really deep-rooted understanding of the operating tribal knowledge that, which was a very hard skill to find. And quite honestly, it wasn't readily available. So troubleshooting things and kind of getting to the root cause of problems has always been an issue, which led us to SysTrack. So some of the other products would basically get you into the parking lot, so to speak, if I would use that analogy, right? So you can get some idea of what may be happening. But a lot of the other products were putting thought into what they thought based on a scoring system, what they thought would be the problem. And the window was wide, and it would still take a long time to be able to get to the root cause of something. SysTrack got me into the parking spot, so to speak, right? It actually took me up to where the problem was occurring. It told me exactly what was happening. I was able to go back in time and also build, take the blank canvas, if you will, be able to paint my own picture using data to tell a story about what happened in that negative experience. And SysTrack was able to do that with Blackbox and Resolve. I was able to go back historically and see exactly when married the time of the complaint to the data. And it was very easily within a couple of minutes, I could ascertain what the problem was. And that was helpful because then I had confidence to be able to tell my story. And I think with some of the other products, they just didn't have enough of the context in the picture to be able to confidently tell that story, right? To be able to go to my leadership and say, this is without question your problem. And that was really, for me, that was important. I didn't want to send my leadership team and other people within my organization down these dark rabbit holes of misinformation, which would ultimately lead to more inefficiency and more wasted money and time. When I first installed SysTrack and I saw the vast amount of data that was available, the possibilities to me seemed endless. There was so much I could do with it. There was asset tracking and there was software management, the change factor, right? That was important to me, being able to tell a story about impact and change. Was there a change made when things happened, which was very contextual, right? I could see that there was a office update or patch, a security patch, and SysTrack visually cued that for me, which made it easy where I could say there was a change and then there was impact. And visually, I didn't need to understand a lot, but I knew that there was correlation between that. So to be able to correlate things was also, really important. And just the basics of asset management and what software profile and being able to determine whether or not someone was on a specific version that was impacted. At a glance, the dashboarding giving me the ability to put things into different quadrants that put all of this information together in one-stop shop was things I didn't realize that the value out of that I was going to be able to draw. But it certainly made things a lot easier for me. And I realized the value of it, I would say, within the first couple of days, once I got it up and I was able to take a look at what this was doing, I knew that this was going to be positively impactful for us in our business. So Lakeside and SysTrack is an unsung hero. People aren't interested in when things aren't bad, right? Because it's just perceived as business being usual, right? That's we're operating, that's the way we should be. With SysTrack being able to identify issues and kind of do things behind the scenes and make the world, make us all, smarter and more, and have more understanding about what's actually happening underneath the hood, we're able to solve things proactively, which, that's really the goal. The goal is to be able to stop things from happening. We want things to be uneventful. And SysTrack is the tool that's going to allow you to get there. It's when things are bad and you have subpar experiences where the question about what we're doing, how we're handling it, et cetera, comes into play. And SysTrack sits in the back for us, and it allows us to get this perspective where we can be more proactive. We can automate certain things and integrate with ServiceNow and be able to kind of move things along the line and get things to the right people sooner, which ultimately pays back dividends to us and makes the experience for our user community a much better place, which led me to the automation tools that SysTrack provides, where we are sensing an issue, we are programmatically determining what that problem is based off the sensor, and opening a ticket in ServiceNow and providing that ticket with the contextual-based information that would typically be organic from each help desk engineer from one to the next. You don't know if you're going to get the same level of questioning, right, and consistency. If you understand the problem, apply the thinking up front and move that information into the ticket, where you can essentially put it in a position to be solved in a much quicker fashion, and then use that data in ServiceNow, obviously to do predictive analysis and et cetera, correlating events. Because as the tickets come in from SysTrack, ServiceNow is also educated, and you can build from there as well. My philosophy with SysTrack is take a look at the tickets that are your low-lying fruit within ServiceNow. Look at your top talking tickets, and then build a framework where you can programmatically address those. And there is a cost savings that does go with each particular ticket. If you average off, let's say it was $30 or $40 per ticket. If I'm having, and this is the formula, if I'm having 30 disk-based issues a month, and I'm automatically sensing them, grabbing the pertinent information as to where the offending files and folders are, and passing that information along to ServiceNow, where I'm allowing the help desk to use a tool to mitigate that, I can essentially, using SysTrack, I can show that 30 times 30, 30 times 40, or whatever your ticket cost is going to be based on your business. And in this case, we're talking about thousands of sensors that SysTrack has access to. Not only is SysTrack dealing with the issue, but once you're satisfied that that tool that you're giving to the service desk is actually working successfully, and you can prove that through automatable dashboards and show that you've had 300 clicks of that button without any incidents, you can now turn that into an automation and provide the level of confidence that you need. So this way your leadership team is trusting that, because with like everything else at scale, there's a confidence issue. And once you turn that into an automation, there's levels of efficiencies with that. Now it's not just the ticket that you're saving money on, it's also the individuals that you're hiring to handle it. At the end of the day, what we're talking about here is allowing people to operate or run a business. I'm in a financial institution. My business shouldn't have to worry about technical problems. How good could you run your business without understanding impact and level of productivity lost, right? So when you answer that question, can you continue to sustain levels of disruption to your business? Would that be conducive to being able to run a good business? The answer is no, right? So in one sense, it's been invaluable to us. It's allowed us to build confidence. It's inspired people around us, my colleagues, and those people that don't understand some of this stuff by nature. It's allowed them to feel more comfortable because they have a tool that's allowing them to see things that they typically wouldn't otherwise see. Lakeside will give you the opportunity to be able to learn things that you may have to, may struggle with otherwise. It makes things simple to learn. It's confidence, camaraderie, inspires conversation, and most importantly, root cause, right? And now more so on the automation front, that's we're looking forward to that takes us in the future.